Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to all of you.
Not yet. Just wait.
Okay, see attendees on the side.
Okay. Good morning. Good afternoon. Sorry, everybody. Maybe good morning for those who are in France. We are going to start. I think people are going to continue to join progressively, but as we have only a 1 hour schedule, we need to pay attention to the timing. I'm Justine Deguerre. I'm the executive director of the Franco-Thai Chamber of Commerce. Happy to have all of you today for this first webinar of the Thailand Insights program. The idea for this year, we want with this program of Thailand Insights to propose a regular webinar, so almost every month, on various topics on the Thailand market. The idea is to give information and insight to companies maybe that have just set up in Thailand, or maybe that are in Thailand and that want to have updates, or maybe also potential companies from abroad that are having a look at the market in Thailand. So glad to have you today for this webinar, and I would like to thank the team of Bureau Veritas, who has accepted to be the first experts and speakers to share their expertise in this webinar. So thank you very much, Bureau Veritas. And today we have a very interesting topic. Who hasn't had a target for this year, or topics on ESG for his company? I mean, it's really a current topic for all of us. So I will let them the floor to share their topic, and at the end we'll take a time for Q&A. But don't hesitate, if you want to start to write your question in the Q&A box down, because we'll take only written questions. On this format, we don't have all the participants, but so you can write your question progressively. We'll have 15 minutes at the end, and I will come back for the conclusion. But so maybe with no further ado, I would like to introduce you to Dr. Poonperm Vandanabdhu, which is the Sustainability and Product Development Manager for Bureau Veritas. Thank you very much. And we have also Mr. Martin Dilly, Building and Infrastructure Manager for Bureau Veritas. And in fact, Martin is also a board member since recently of the Franco-Thai Chamber of Commerce. So thank you, and see you soon.
Thank you, Justine. Go ahead, Poonperm.
Thank you very much. So thank you so much for inviting me to have the honor to talk and to explain the situation of environmental, social, and governance in Thailand. So it's ESG is the term that we use also in the stock exchange of Thailand. We used to have so ESG in the Thai term was transformed from the CSR in the past, but I know that the CSR, the corporate social responsibility, is still being run and very active in the European Union, but not anymore in Thailand. So it's a very, very different perspective of how we look at sustainability as a whole. So I'm going to run through some of the topics from the outline. So before I'll just run into the ESG trends in Thailand, and then we'll come back to the BV Greenline, which we also have services that align and are parallel to the development of sustainability markets in Thailand. So let me move on to the second chapter right now, before we head the service. So the Stock Exchange of Thailand, right? So in the Stock Exchange of Thailand, let me see. Okay, sorry, this presentation is running on a very sufficient internet, but yeah, ESG, environmental social governance, is well, I'm going to read this through, but it's the best definition to give at the moment. So these are factors considered by companies, investors, public sectors, and other organizations in a wide range of decision-making processes and situations, including strategy, purpose, financing, company reporting, and supply chain management. So basically, it's like CSRD plus in the EU term, because CSRD in the European Union focuses on the environment and social services or the responsibilities that companies reflect or give to their clients or to the society, the community nearby. But ESG in a Thai term refers to it was sustainability in the past, but yeah, we look at ESG as an index to reach sustainability, because it's quite difficult, as you may all know, that sustainability is it's a very abstract topic, and it's quite difficult for one to define how sustainable they are. So UNFCCC in the past, they have tried to coin the term sustainability for quite a while. They have the word the Millennium Goal in the past, and then they have sustainable development, which is still a valid term right now. Then we have Sustainable Development Goals in 2015, which is a clearer practice, or it provides clearer indicators for companies to follow. For example, you can follow Sustainable Development Goal number 1, for example, zero hunger, zero poverty, and so on. That's 17, all 17 of them. And each of them have very clear indicator of how the big picture of the nation will proceed in order to reach sustainability by the year 2030. But then the term ESG has been trying to integrate itself to the Sustainable Development Goals, because companies or private companies, they think that they have the opinion that Sustainable Development Goals are too big to follow. So many institutes, researchers, and also financial institutes have helped develop this term to be easier for clients or practitioners to follow. So it's an easier term to sustainability. So the key ESG trends for 2022 in the past is that to reach net zero, it's still valid until 2023, and it's going to be until 2050, until we all hopefully reach carbon neutrality or net zero emission. Then we have social issues in supply chain. We have climate, biodiversity, and other environmental concerns, which I'm going to try to explain this in a Thai term, or how will you be able to practice this climate and biodiversity in Thailand a lot clearer. Social issues, for example, like life diversity, equity, and also inclusion and working well-being, for example, human rights due diligence, and so on. Natural capital and biodiversity risks, raising the importance of ESG to credit, for example. So that's the picture, how it suits perfectly in this Venn diagram. So we have E, which is natural capital. We have S, which is the social part, and then we have governance. That's more internal, how companies reflect themselves to the community, which includes their own staff and their well-beings, and it will expand to reach the community nearby and also their ecosystem, environment, or natural resource that they have to rely on, for example. So when it comes to financial institutes, they use ESG as an index, one of the index to provide or help support the investors to see better how companies are responsible to all of the dimensions, E, S, and G. Also in the past, I always explain this to Thais, that about 20 years ago, we have this environmental impact assessment, which is a scientific test or monitoring system to look at the companies or factories' practices or activities, how much they impact the environment and society and health of the people in the community nearby. But it has become gradually less popular because people are more concerned about the climate, for example. They're more concerned about other more political or financial issues. So it has EIA, environmental impact assessment, is being less popular. But the term ESG, in my opinion, it's quite similar to EIA because it shows initially at the very beginning of how companies will reflect or have response to environment and social, and also their staff's well-being. So if they plan E, or the impact that they will have to the environment, the impact they will cause to the society and the staff, they are imaged to be responsible, and it draws attention and it draws reliability and comfort for the investors to invest in. So these financial institutes, this SEC, or the Security and Exchange Commission, so it requires all listed companies to disclose information in the 56-11 report, or the ESG report. Since 2022, it was a voluntary report back last year, but this March, which is the due date of the 56-11 report, all of the companies are it's not voluntary anymore. It's you have to, it's an enforced. You have to submit these reports to SEC, or the Security Exchange Commission. So it's a must now for listed companies. So it disseminate investment governance principles, or investment governance code, or I-code, for managing conflicts of interest, for example. So in this 56-11 report, it's very flexible. You can report your environmental impacts or human rights due diligence. So it's a book of sustainability. So basically, you do that. You write down what you've done good, or what are you planning to do that will be good for the environment and society, and also your staff, and also your stakeholders. And yeah, they will give you ranks from indexes that they include, right? And then there's SET, the Stock Exchange of Thailand. So the Stock Exchange of Thailand is promoting sustainable development goals since forever in the capital market sector, with regards to the environment, social, and corporate governance. E, S, and G as well. Scoring and developing ESG data, such as publishing ESG rating of listed companies. They raise awareness, such as awarding set awards for ESG operations. So yes, so it's very, very crucial for listed companies at the moment to try to reach or try to report and disclose their ESG, right? So these are the stock indices of Thailand. So we have consumption, which contributes to 4% of the total picture. We have financial, we have industrial, we have property and construction, resource, we have service, tech and agriculture, and also forestry and other land use. So yeah, this is the set announcing the list of sustainable stocks, or THSI, the Thailand Sustainability Investment for the year 2022, which is last year. But as it says here, this was released only October then. So that means that these businesses, if you're in, for example, consumer's product or financial, or if you are a tech company, you have to report sustainability index, or your sustainability or ESG index in the 56-1 report. And then in the in a bigger picture, let me come back to this report, the 56-1 report. In the past, if you are familiar in the Thai system, we have two separate reports, which is the one report, and then we have sustainability report or sustainable development report, which you can use the global report initiative template or layout to report your sustainability level and activities, for example. And it also aligned to the JSI, or the Dow Jones Sustainability Index, for example. Okay. Now, sustainable stock information. So the sustainable investment is a very hot topic. So sustainable investment is an investment, a trend attracted by investors around the world by considering environmental performance, environmental performance, which is the term E, abbreviated E, society, which is the S, and then corporate governance, or ESG. So I'm trying to show you here that ESG is a very crucial part of running businesses in Thailand. One of the largest cement companies in Thailand, SCG, has their cover dedicated to the word ESG. PTT, the Petroleum of Thailand, they also dedicate a lot of sectors explaining what ESG is, trying to educate people what ESG is. And then why the listed companies are concerned about their SDG disclosure, because one, it's very crucial for their reputation, because they have to engage with consumers, and you are not able to communicate with your consumers directly. So you have this book, you have this report to show your clients and stakeholders by disclosing this ESG performance. Right, and then you have it's important because it's a risk reduction. As I said earlier, it is like environmental impact assessment, but with more dimensions and more aspects to focus on. You have to have transparency to disclose an ESG performance, which helps mitigate risk, because when you start good, you are more likely to stay good in the future. So that's why it draws attention of investors. And then it also reflects to the financial performance, because it's better sustainability performance leads to lower cost of capital, better stock prices, and improved operational performance. We have this standard, which is called SBT, Science-Based Target Initiative. And also we have, we as in the world, eco-efficiency, which is a standard that helps clients or practitioners to plan their emission reduction, for example. At the same time, they have to increase their profit or the economic value of their business. So at the same time that emission reduces, you have to increase the economy aspect of your company. And then you have regulation, which increase demand by regulators to report ESG matters, for example. So what's next in the sustainability index or ESG in the stock exchange of Thailand? So you have, as we described here, we have green, we have climate, and we have low carbon, which is categorized in this green exchange, which is to be reported or have to be reported in the 56-11 report in Thailand. So in low carbon, we have climate change mitigation. In climate, we have climate change mitigation and climate change adaptation. In a bigger picture, we have other environmental aspects. We have to use life cycle perspective to evaluate everything that's related to environment, not only engineer, but how the engineering world has an impact to environment. It is very crucial to evaluate and very, very difficult to define all of the aspects that they have impact to. So that's why in every environmental standards, for example, ISO 14001, ISO 14064, which is carbon footprint for organization, or carbon footprint for product, ISO 14067, all of them will have to ask you to declare or explain, define your life cycle activities. So that's why it's very important. And then this expands to sustainable finance, which will include social, economics, and governance. In the near future, green bond or climate bond, it's going to be a very, very big topic in our society, because following the Paris Agreement and also following the COP26, 27, and so on, we are a developed country. We commit to reduce environmental impacts, right? And then developed countries, Annex 1 countries in the past, that if you you might be familiar to that. Annex 1 countries, developed countries, will have to support these countries in order to reach their climate goals. For example, Thailand has planned a carbon reduction to about 40% by the year 2030. But we say that 5% of that, we have to have investment from developed countries. So we have to be supported in order to reach that goal. So it's going to be a very red market in terms of green bonds, because many startups you see that will have activities or business models that are dedicated to save the environment, lower the impact of climate change, etc., etc. So ESG, as if we have to define it in terms of standard or what you can actually do to comply with each index, you can see from here. So in the environmental report aspect, you have to, or you may report or disclose your environment reporting, which is similar to ISO 14001. Also, this one, environmental management system. Environmental management system is exactly ISO 14001. So if you're dedicated to environment and you need to look at your whole activity as a whole, it's better for you to start with environmental management systems. So you will know what are the impacts of each activity that you may cause or you are going to cause to the environment. And then there's eco-efficiency. As I said earlier, you benchmark or you try to increase your profit while reducing environmental impacts. You have to reduce your energy consumption, water use, and pollution and toxicity. Climate change is also included in environmental. And how about social? You have a board structure, for example, how you include people from many diversities into your company or support them in any way. Materiality analysis to disclose what are the impacts you may cause to society, risks and crisis management, business ethics, customer relations is also one of that, corporate branding, tax transparency, and also in the near future, near as in a couple of months, we are going to have green taxonomy that will be announced officially from the Stock Exchange of Thailand and the Security Exchange Chamber that will ask us to follow strictly on the green taxonomy, cybersecurity management, so on and so forth. Governance, for example, social reporting disclosure, label practices, human rights due diligence, diversity, inclusiveness, human capital, and so on. So this presentation, I will hand it over to the FTCC to distribute. Yes, and then we have this is a measurement indicators for that. Go quickly, but I'd like to focus on this one. So if you are starting to work on ESG, there are steps for you to achieve. So you have to have the ESG self-assessment. So you need to know what you are. You have to diagnose your ESG status or how you are at the level or index. Where are you in ESG? Okay, your own status. Then you kind of verify the assessment result. This is mandatory for listed companies to have third party to assess and verify that the self-assessment is valid and can be used to disclose and publish. And then we have to have feedback report, gap analysis, feedback, and then, excuse me, and then when you have feedback from your stakeholders, then you're ready to set your other milestones. For example, for large companies in Thailand, they're aiming for S&P Global, like Dow Jones Sustainability Index, for example. They aim for MSCI. Bureau Veritas is also a gold standard for DJSI. And we're very proud. So we try to help our clients to achieve that as well. Then you can see best practices that are from the Thai manufacturer or based in Thailand. So we have Pranda Group, which hires people with hearing loss because their work doesn't require any hearing to operate. So that's why they hire this, and then they disclose this through through the Stock Exchange of Thailand. So they are promoted, and then they portray themselves to be to help disabled or physical challenged people. Thai Union, which is one of the largest food producers or food companies in Thailand, they have this sea exchange project to improve labor work quality, because some of you may know that Thailand is banned from the EU market to export seafoods or marine products to the European Union. So we're banned from that. So we're trying to we promote and try to rebrand ourselves to be more sustainable and more safe to the labor and the quality of their lives. We have PTTGC, Global Chemical, which is where they're doing upcycling the ocean. I was also involved in this project before I joined BV. They're very active in terms of recycling plastic and trying to promote the community to join in and to promote it as a CSR. But they also have a scheme in the international standard, which is Vera. They have this plastic exchange scheme that if you collect a lot of plastics, you can have incentives from consumers or you'll be able to credit it and sell the credits just like carbon credits, but this one is plastic credit. And then we have East Water, which is a water company. Yeah, this is ESG evaluation scheme. ESG, they will have lots of questions based on E, S, and G to your company, and how we evaluate that, or how they evaluate that, is you answer all of those questions. It takes a lot of time to answer these questions because when you look at ESG, it's a big picture. Not one person, not any individual can answer all of these questions. For example, if it's 300 questions, maybe you have to distribute these questionnaire to all of your staff in every department to answer these questions, and then they will evaluate those indexes and score them from 100. Currently, Bureau Veritas scores at 84, which is gold, global gold class. And these are the aspects or the questionnaires related to ESG. So in environmental profile, you have to have greenhouse gas disclosure, waste and pollution, water use, land use and biodiversity, for example. Then we have social profile for workforce and diversity, safety management, and so on and so forth. And then we have governance profile, which looks at your structure and oversight, code of values, transparency in reporting, financial and operational risks, for example. And then you answer this, they will give you scores. Okay. Let me move into environmental and climate actions, which is in another presentation. Let me switch this quickly. Okay. I hope you can see this. So this is a milestone of the climate greenhouse gas reduction or schemes in Thailand. So we have milestones that are quite delayed from the EU or other European countries or America or Japan, developed countries. Most of the countries in the world that are developed, they aim for net zero 2050. But as you can see, in Thailand, we aim for net zero emission by 2060. So the roadmap starts from here. So we actually started since 2018. We had the National Adaptation Plan, which we accomplished in 2018. And then we committed to reduce carbon emission by 18%, but we did that very, very early on. So we were proud, and then we went to COP26 and then announced our new NDC, and it's quite ambitious to reach a GHG reduction of 40% with only 5% support from international. So we're doing our own for 35%, which means if you're investing in Thailand, then you are prone, or you are expected to have decarbonization activities and also carbon reduction projects in your businesses. And then we have 2035 that we are trying to have 69% of EVs, which we are very sensitive to technology and receive it with open hands. Currently, the EVs in Thailand are about 6% already in total of vehicles. 6% of them are EVs already, so that's very a very leap. And then it's applicable to your businesses, because when you want to reduce the emissions, you have to have transportation that's safe or emits a low level of emission. So why am I trying to explain this, and why is reducing emissions crucial? It's because next year, or within this year or next year, we are going to have the National Climate Change Act, which is a law for companies to disclose their carbon footprint, carbon reduction, and carbon emission or carbon reduction plan. So that's a must for you to report to the government, no matter you're listed or not. So that means every single organization or institutes in Thailand or based in Thailand will have to report this. And it's very important for otherwise there's going to be fines for you to be prosecuted, because we are a voluntary country to reduce emission. But if we don't reach this milestone, what will happen? We will be forced from the UNFCCC that carbon markets or carbon reduction schemes will be a mandatory market in Thailand, or mandatory scheme in Thailand. So we have to pay high tax for carbon reduction if this doesn't happen. So it's very crucial. 2033, we are aiming to have biological removal of greenhouse gas at about 120 gigatons. At the moment, it's about 80 gigatons already, so we're not so far from this milestone. And then this one is a bit too far: 2050 carbon neutrality and 2060 net zero emission. Okay, let me post you back to this one. I have about 5 minutes left, but yeah, it's good picture for you to realize global risk, which is voted and also published by the World Economic Forum, that if you don't know what you're going to do or what activities that you should do, you can look at this diagram easily. So number one concern to people in global risk is climate action failure, because many countries or many organizations fail to reach their reduction plan or emission reduction plan. So if you have a strong reduction plan or any activity that helps contribute to lower the level of emissions, it's going to be great and it's going to be good for your image. Extreme weather, that's quite impossible for us to control, but anyways, in COP27, developed countries are now will have to or forced to donate money to developed countries who are impacted from extreme weather. Biodiversity loss, I'm very pro this one, because I have a strong background in biodiversity, and in Thailand we are trying to reach the climate action so hard and so much that we dedicate everything to planting trees, but we don't have any controls over to see what the trees or dominant trees, if it's a mono-species forest, you will have a large loss of biodiversity. So if you have any activity that contributes to biodiversity, you will have a lot of scores also in the in ESG. Okay, then we have social cohesion erosion, moving people around, people moving to bigger cities. So if you have a company or you're planning to invest in Thailand, maybe you might want to consider having your factories quite away from big cities for people to distribute and not be so clamped in bigger cities, for example, and so on. Livelihood crisis, infectious diseases, human, environmental damage, natural resource crisis, and debt crisis, and also war. Okay, and then tools to help in terms of ESG that will contribute also to ESG is these tools. So CDP, Carbon Disclosure Project. If you are committed to climate, then this one, the Carbon Disclosure Project, is a very good tool for entrepreneurs to it's a simple questionnaire, but about 20 questions long, and you answer the questions, but you might have to take a bit of time to report your carbon. And then if you are doing well to disclose all of the emissions, it doesn't mean that you have to reduce your emissions, but if you are able to disclose as many carbon or activity as much as you can, then you'll have a good score in CDP. And then you have Science-Based Target Initiative to try to project you to reach carbon neutrality or net zero. Right, and then we have, as I said, Sustainable Development Goals. It's from this picture, ESG, that we're talking about. So my take-home message is that if you don't know what to start or how should you start in ESG, you have to first monitor what's your status. And then when you monitor, you report, you disclose your status, you have your plan to reduce those. You have plans to tackle those activities that have high impact to environmental, social. And then when you have a plan, you take action to reduce those impacts to the environmental, social, governance matter. And then, and I think that concludes my presentation about ESG. So we have 15 minutes to answer questions. So thank you very much. If you need any further information, or if you'd like me to explain anything that I kind of missed from this presentation, you can, we have about 14 minutes to discuss. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kun Pamper. I see in the chat some questions regarding the many standards, that are relating to ESG. Question from Mr. Vincent. So, you have ISO 14005, 45,000, 14,000, 26,000, etc. One question is, are those standards converging to a unique one? Like, would there be any kind of a ESG certification, unified one, existing, or will it always be necessary to do many different certifications?
It's not necessary for you to do many certifications. You can do only a few of them that covers the aspects you think is important to your nature or your company's DNA. For example, if you are enforced by law is a different situation, surely. But if it's voluntary, you just look at yourself and think what's important for you, and those standards can be included in any sustainable development or sustainability report or even ESG index. Because those questions are quite open, and when you answer them, for example, they will ask you what are the environmental related standards that you participated. You can answer 14,001, 14,064-1, for example.
Okay, so meaning there is not like one ESG certification
no
yet. Or...
No, there's no one ESG standard yet.
Thank you. Is there any other question from the audience? Any other point maybe that were not clear? Yes, Vincent.
So it's a very, very broad topic. It might be difficult to for you to digest all of the information just now, but to kind of give you encourage to participate in ESG is that it's better to log whatever good you do or announce anything that you think it's beneficial for your companies. For example, I was a lecturer in a university before. My university had a very, very conservative environment and culture, but we allowed LGBTQs to dress as their own preference. They can dress by their own preference. But if you don't announce that, that's not valid. That means it's just people dressing up by themselves. But then we participated in this ESG scheme, which is called the THE Sustainable Development Standard. And then we announced that LGBTQs are welcome or they can dress by their own gender preference. And then our score became very, very high. So announce as much as good policies as much as possible.
Yes, thank you. It's possible.
Which local authority is enforcing the GHG reduction obligation? You mentioned about fine for corporations missing the publication of their GHG report. Yes. So Morgan, thank you very much for the question. It's going to be the ONEP. The ONEP is the National Environmental Policy Making Scheme, or it's under the Ministry of Environment. So but this law is a big law. It's an umbrella law that other ministries will have to follow as well, or have to respond to. So if you are a factory, you will be under the Ministry of Department and Ministry of Industry. You will have to report your GHG emissions and reductions to the Ministry of Industry of Work, and then Department of Industrial Work, and then they will report that to the Ministry of Environment and Natural Resource.
There is another question from Vincent regarding the IFC, the International Finance Corporation, has published a series of ESG standards and guidelines along with audits and assessment questionnaire. Is BV familiar with those IFC standards and can they provide audits?
Right, I'm not familiar myself, but I've heard of IFC. It's similar to DJSI. So it's an index. You have many choices to benchmark or evaluate your ESG, and IFC is one of them. But unfortunately, at the moment, I'm not familiar with IFC. Unfortunately, Kun Shuda, she has a fever today and she can't attend the panel, but she will be able to answer those questions. I will get back to you, Vincent, if we have the proper answer to that. Thank you.
And we have another one from Vivian. A tool collecting CO2 emissions data on a company international operation can be used for future carbon tax system. When the green bonds and green credits will be settled in Thailand, is there any certification needed to approve CO2 data collected?
Yeah, thank you. As well, we have one scheme that is widely used in Thailand. It's under the Thailand Greenhouse Gas Management Organization, or TGO. TGO is an organization under the Ministry of Environment. They are a regulatory body to draw or develop or kind of give policies for carbon emissions, and they announce emission factors, for example, for users to use emission factors. So TGO, but we don't have a tool yet. But if we have a tool, it's going to be commercial. You will have your own. You can use your own preference. You can have your own preference, because I know that IBM has a tool called Envisi, which you can use, and that will also generate a report, a GHG report that follows GHG protocol and ISO 14064. And you can also use that to put in the TGO's template and then report it to the government.
Okay. And so is there any particular certification needed to approve the CO2 data that are collected, or is, for example, a company like us, like BV, doing the audit to guarantee the data are reported properly?
We can do all of them. We can follow the international standard, which is ISO, International Standard Organization 14064. We can give certifications for that, but that one is not recognized by the Thai government. The Thai government will acknowledge their own official organization, which is Thailand Greenhouse Gas Management Organization, which we can also provide certification for that scheme as well.
I see your last question from Vincent. Can BV provide EPDs?
EPDs, I'm not familiar with that. I'm sorry.
Can you get environmental policy? Can you please clarify, Vincent, what you mean by that?
If you can please.
Environmental product declaration. Environment product declaration.
Right. Environment product declaration. Do you mean, is it similar to carbon footprint for product? If it's carbon footprint for product, for example, we can provide certification for ISO 14067, which can be aligned to the carbon border adjustment mechanism in EU as well. So yes, if that refers to carbon footprint for product, then yes, we provide service to carbon footprint for product, so certificate for ISO 14067.
All right, thank you very much. Is there any other question or point some of the attendees wish to clarify? So far, I don't see other question, but so just as a quick summary, I mean, on my side, if I may, if you have any particular question, please do not hesitate to come to me or to Khun. I will be, as a member of the board of the FTCC, I'm present at multiple event, etc. So do not hesitate to come to talk to me. I can put you in contact with the right person within our organization to support your project and your question. What we see basically is like ESG up to now was mostly voluntary, but it's becoming more and more as a compulsory basically aspect of the business for today listed company. But in the future for any company. So BV here in Thailand has a really strong team and can support you to define your strategy, evaluate your strategy, and reach basically your ESG goals. That's the main takeaway from that. So do not hesitate to come to us if you have any particular point. We can have Dr. Punperm to meet with you and discuss more in detail of your organization goals and how we can help you to reach them. All right, Justin, maybe you want to conclude? You are still muted.
Yes, sorry, I had to change computer, small technical issues, but so thank you very much. I think it was very interesting and complete. Maybe just before we end, I of course I wanted to thank you, Dr. Pontry, and thank you, Martin Dilly. I want to just tell you so that in this program of Thailand Insights, we'll have more in the coming months. So the topic we will have, I already said, is company setup, tax system, supply chain, etc. It's members, experts that are presenting each time, but don't hesitate if you are in a specific topic or expertise that you want to share, and you have the dates of the 3 next one in Feb, March, and April. So these are for the Thailand Insights events. And after, regarding the next events of the FTCC, so there is the French Ministry of Foreign Trade that is visiting Thailand next week. So we are organizing a lunch next Friday with him. He will share the roadmap of the French government on foreign trade, but also have an interaction with a business community present. And we will have a presentation by various key sector representatives that will give an update on their sector situation in Thailand. And this after will be an opportunity for dialogue with the participants, but as well with the ministry. This is not only open to French citizens, of course, because we want to encourage Franco-Thai businesses, so don't hesitate to join if you are interested. I want to talk to you also very quickly about the year of innovation. You know, France and Thailand is enhancing for this year all the innovations done by both our countries and companies in various sectors of activities, and the launch of this specific year will be on the 26th of January. It's open to everyone and it's free. And it will be about space. So there will be a drone show. There will be a lot of events in the Ben Jakiti Park. So I really encourage all of you to join. It will be fun. We are also proposing multi-chamber networking if you need to mingle and if you want to meet your peers this month. And also maybe few events that are coming in the next months. We're doing member orientation next month, but also French connection, so networking opportunity for everybody. We'll have a climate fresque in March. So sorry, the date is not 8. It will be on the 2nd of March. But I guess if you're interested and into ESG, maybe either you have already done or you have heard about the climate fresque. It's a basic, it's the first step of getting into sustainability compliance to be informed. So I really encourage all of you to participate. And after we have a cross-cultural training, and but there will be more events, but these are the flagship event of FTCC we wanted to share with you. So thank you to all of you for participating. Once again, thank you very much to Bureau Veritas. And I think it's 5 sharp, so we have respected the timing. So have a good end of afternoon to all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.